which is a segue into what's not joyful. The news. The news is not joyful. There are times when I listen in on you, Shambra, and you're like, I'm never going to look at the news again. I can't deal with it. But the news is addictive, and particularly conspiracy news is really addictive. So you say, I can never look at the news again, but then you're back the next day looking at it. That's a tough one, and no matter how enlightened you are, it's still a very tough one, dealing with mass consciousness, staying here on the planet. Still a tough one. I mean, you look at it, and I ask the question to all of you, is the world a bigger mess right now than it's ever been before? Is the world a bigger mess? I feel into that for a moment, and some of you, I realize, don't go to the news, and you're like, it doesn't matter, but is the world a bigger mess? I would say not actually. If you look at it, things like murder and crimes and wars and disease, hunger, on a per capita basis, on an overall basis across the planet, there's actually less of a lot of these things than ever before. But there is a hyper awareness of them now that you didn't used to have. 2 lifetimes ago, 3 lifetimes ago, news traveled very, very slow. I mean, by horse. And it took a long time to get the news that a war was going on in another part of the world, and by then it could have been ended. It took a long time for news to travel about a disease going through or crime or things like that. So there's actually literally less of these things than there used to be, but there's more awareness. You hear about it faster. You're inundated with it all the time, watching the news and listening to it. And yes, it is tough. I mean, first of all, it happens instantaneously, the news traveling to you. And no longer with the old sources that you went to for news, but now anybody with a cell phone is a reporter. Right. You take a photo, you add a little editorial to it, and any war right now, you're there in the moment that it's taking place. But the planet right now is a tough one, and that's mass consciousness is going to be the hardest thing to deal with. Dealing with yourself will become easy. It used to be the other way around. It was easier to deal with the outside world than the inside, but that's going to change. On the planet right now, you have the war going, many wars, but in particular the one right now with the occupation of Ukraine. And it's gotten to the point, it's very, very stressful, because it's gotten to the point where there's talk of potential nuclear weapons being used. It's a lot of saber rattling, but that doesn't make it any easier on the nerves, on the mind. So you've got that situation. It's very explosive in a way, potentially explosive, literally, of what could happen. And again, shut up if you think I'm taking sides. I'm looking at the overall energies of what's happening within a huge power vortex. We've had to go in and pull a bunch of Shambra from that power vortex, if you know what I mean. They got all caught up in it and forgot, stand behind the short wall. Don't get out your armament and jump into that power vortex. I take no sides, but I make brilliant observations about it.
Yes, you do.
No, I do.
You do.
It was right here back months and months ago where we did a special session that I didn't come up with the title, actually. Caldra did, but it was called Saint or Satan. Mm-hmm. And just a few days ago, President Putin basically accused the West of being Satan. So I was brilliant in discussion, but now it's being used the other way around, that the rest of the world is Satan. And that's a big part of the power vortex. It's using old religious rhetoric. It's using old evil against good and anything it can. That power vortex is getting nastier and nastier. And it's using anything it can. If it can use the Satan against God or the angels, it will. If it can use masculine against feminine, it will. It can use poor against the rich at will. It's sucking in everything it possibly can. And as I said, it's explosive. It could blow at any minute or alt. And this is where we stop for a moment. Stop for a moment. There are alts in this. You might just see one path that it's going on, but this is where you hit the alt button. And I know you and Calder aren't real big about making little devices to sell to Chambra, but I think an alt button would be a really good one.
All right.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's
I can
do
tell
it.
you're not excited. No, a little alt button.
Why
Stop.
not? It's a reminder.
Hit the alt button in
It's a
your
reminder.
own life, or even when you're looking at world affairs.
Right.
There's the alt button. There's a very good chance of it being a highly explosive, destructive situation right now in the power vortex. But Chambra, boom, hit the alt button. Shine your light. There are other potentials. There are some brilliant potentials I don't want to get into right now, but there's some brilliant potentials that would not be obvious to most humans right now for the resolution, for this power vortex now to basically collide with itself. I'm giving some hints here. It collides with itself, and then it self-destructs. You see, the power vortex is made up of human consciousness energies right now, specifically around the subject of power. But humans are really good at self-destructing within themselves. You know, they eat themselves up. They go to battle with themselves. They self-destruct. This power vortex could, in the alt, could self-destruct and then convert all those energies back to natural energies that are in service to those who are ready for the energies to be in service. But I digress. So in the world right now, you look at the economy. It's going up and down and up and down and down, 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 and then a
it's
little bit up.
wild.
It's wild. I mean, it's crazy right now. And makes it very difficult to stay. You turn on the news and suddenly you see another day the Dow Jones fell 500 points. That's nothing compared to days where it falls 1,000 points. And you wonder, how is this all going to end? Are we all going to starve to death? Is there going to be global chaos, economic ruin for everyone? And there are conspiracy sites and conspiracy people that would like you to believe so, and they feed into that. And it's like, yes, we're doomed. It's the end. This is apocalyptic. It was said so in Revelations, which it never did. And they connect dots that aren't ever meant to connect, but they try anyway. You look at it and on the planet, and we just got through most of COVID. As I said a long time ago, it would last for a long time. All right, it was my one big mistake, but it's now pretty much coming to an end.
It is.
That's not a prediction. It's no, people just don't care anymore, so it's going to go away. You've got COVID, you've got diseases and everything else. It's overwhelming. Why stay on the planet? Overwhelming. The weather, the hurricanes, the droughts, the floods, the
Earthquakes.
Be careful saying that here. The earthquakes and everything else. And it's overwhelming. You add all these together, you watch, 15 minutes of the news, it sounds like a terrible place. It sounds awful, but that's where, boom, 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 you hit that alt button. When you hit that alt button, you're also sending a light, a signal out to the planet that there are other ways to do this. Now, they may or may not go along with it, but there are other ways to do it. And just with the weather, for instance, there are those who are talking about we've ruined the planet. And they kind of get a weird kick out of saying that. Oh, yeah, we've ruined the planet, or the young ones today blaming it on you. I mean, not you personally, but on the older, your generation. You've ruined the planet. Not necessarily. I mean, it's because Gaia is leaving. And yes, these things add in, and there's more pollution on the planet. There has been in a long time, but there's been times on the planet where the pollution levels have been much, much, much higher as a result of things like volcanoes and other fires that consume the planet. We'll go back to the time after Atlantis fell. That was a bad time. I mean, the whole surface of the planet was on fire. I mean, a lot worse than things are now. But what people don't recognize is that, no, it's Gaia leaving. Could you imagine if every tree hugger and every Greenpeacer on the planet was to suddenly realize, oh, we have to stop pointing fingers and blaming others and saying that people are awful and they're polluting. Yeah, there's pollution. I'm not denying that. But if they realize what's really happening, Gaia is leaving. Oh, let's take responsibility for the planet. Let's stop pointing fingers at everybody. And let's say, hey, people, let's wake up and realize this paradise is ours now. Let's clean it up. Let's do the part, but take responsibility. No longer pushing it. Gaia is tired of pushing stuff off on her because it's your responsibility now. But back to the point. You look at the planet and you say, this is one messed up place. It's really actually, no, you're just more aware of it than ever before.